Langston, a self-made billionaire, was known for his ruthless business tactics and cold demeanor. From the outside, he had it all: power, wealth, and prestige. But in truth, he trusted no one. Betrayal by partners and family alike had left him bitter. So when he suffered a suspicious car accident that left him hospitalized, he suspected foul play. The doctors said he had fallen into a coma, but Victor had a secret. He was fully conscious. Diagnosed with locked-in syndrome, Victor could hear and think clearly but couldn't move or speak. Instead of revealing this, he decided to pretend to remain comatose, hoping to discover if someone in his inner circle was plotting against him. As visitors came and went, Victor heard his business partner scheming to take over his empire. Even his cousin, whom he'd raised like a son, whispered promises of seizing Victor's assets. Day after day, his fury grew. But one person stood out: his nurse, Amina. She was kind, gentle, and always spoke to him with respect and warmth, even when others assumed he couldn't hear. One night, when she thought they were alone, she began to cry softly at his bedside. What she said left Victor stunned. "I know you can hear me, Mr. Langston," she whispered. "I've seen your eyes respond to certain sounds, but I've kept your secret because I have one of my own." She pulled out a faded photograph from her pocket and placed it gently on the nightstand. It was of a smiling woman, Victor's late college girlfriend, Lena. "She was my mother," Amina said. "She died when I was 10. She told me before she passed that my father was you." Victor's mind reeled. Could it be true? Amina continued. "I didn't come here for your money. I became a nurse to care for people like her, like you. I don't know what kind of man you are, but I came here to see for myself." Victor's world turned upside down. His hidden daughter had found him, not through a lawsuit or headlines, but through care, genuine care. Over the next few weeks, Amina continued to visit, reading books aloud, telling stories from her childhood, and even challenging some of Victor's business philosophies. And slowly, Victor began to blink more deliberately, once for yes, twice for no. Amina noticed immediately. When doctors confirmed he was emerging from the locked-in state, Amina was by his side. Eventually, Victor recovered speech and mobility. At a press conference months later, he stood beside Amina and stunned the world. "I faked being unconscious to see the truth about the people around me," he said. "What I discovered wasn't betrayal, but a daughter." Victor rewrote his will and made Amina a co-owner in one of his foundations, funding scholarships and hospitals across the country. And for the first time in his life, Victor Langston found something richer than wealth: family. Secrets in the blood. Victor Langston's announcement made headlines. Some hailed his transformation as miraculous. Others saw it as a PR stunt. But for Victor, none of that mattered. He was focused on one thing: getting to know Amina, the daughter he never knew he had. At first, their relationship was cautious. Amina, grounded and humble, didn't care about the spotlight. She still worked at the hospital, refusing to quit just because her biological father was a billionaire. But Victor, unfamiliar with anything outside boardrooms and deals, struggled with vulnerability. One afternoon, during a walk through the garden of his estate, Victor asked the question that had been burning inside him. "Why didn't your mother ever tell me?" Amina paused. "She said you were building something big, that you wouldn't have stayed, and maybe she was protecting herself." Victor nodded slowly, guilt and regret tightening in his chest. He had been so focused on legacy that he'd ignored the life that might have meant more than all the money in the world. But just as things began to heal, trouble surfaced again. Victor's cousin Darius, who had nearly seized control during Victor's coma, was not done. Furious that he'd lost everything, Darius began to dig into Amina's past. If she really was Victor's daughter, she'd be untouchable. But if she wasn't, one day, Victor's lawyer arrived at the estate with troubling news. The DNA test Darius had arranged privately came back negative. Amina was not Victor's biological daughter. The betrayal hit like a freight train. Victor confronted Amina, barely able to speak. "Why did you lie to me?" Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't lie. That's what my mother told me." I truly believed it. Victor's world tilted again. Was this another scam? A cruel trick? But then Amina placed a second, older letter in his hand, a sealed envelope from her mother, found only recently in an old jewelry box. It read, "If you're reading this, then you've met Victor. I never told him about you because I wasn't sure. There were two men in my life that year, but in my heart I always believed it was him. I hope you find truth and peace." Victor read the letter twice, then lowered his head. It didn't matter what the test said. He had already chosen her. "Biology doesn't make a daughter," he said quietly. "Love does, and you stayed when everyone else left." From that day on, their bond became unshakable, not by blood, but by choice. And Darius? He was quietly disinherited and faced fraud charges soon after for tampering with the original test results. Would you like me to continue the story with a third part, maybe exploring Amina stepping into leadership or a new threat to their bond? The Empire, months had passed since the truth came out and the lie unraveled. Victor had the DNA test retaken at an independent lab. The result? Amina was his biological daughter. Darius had forged the first results out of desperation. Now he was facing criminal charges, but Victor wasn't celebrating. Instead, he was rebuilding. His body was still recovering, but his heart was stronger than ever, fueled by a fierce desire to make up for lost time with Amina. Meanwhile, Amina had taken on a new role. She agreed to oversee the Langston Foundation, a multi-million-dollar charity branch Victor had once treated as a tax shelter. Now, under Amina's guidance, it was opening community hospitals, funding nursing scholarships, and building homes in underserved neighborhoods. But the business world was watching, and not everyone was pleased. Whispers spread among Victor's shareholders and board members. "She's a nurse, not a CEO. She's too emotional. She's going to ruin the brand." Victor called a private board meeting. When he walked in, leaning on a cane but standing tall, he brought Amina with him. "I've made mistakes," he told the room. "Built this empire alone, out of fear, but no more." He turned to Amina. "This is my daughter, my heir. She's not here to replace me. She's here to build what I never could, a legacy with a soul." Some rolled their eyes. Others, especially the newer generation of investors, applauded. The motion passed. Amina Langston became co-chair of Langston Global. But challenges came fast. One of their largest competitors, a firm known for buying and gutting minority-owned businesses, saw Amina's rise as a weak spot. They made an aggressive move to launch a hostile takeover. Victor wanted to fight it the old way, through legal threats and brute force. But Amina proposed something different. "We don't fight with fear," she said. "We fight with people." She organized a massive social campaign, pulling support from the communities the Langston Foundation helped. Small business owners, medical students, single mothers all shared their stories, tagging the rival company's name with shame. Within weeks, the rival's stock plummeted. The takeover collapsed. Victor watched it unfold with quiet awe. His daughter had done more than preserve his legacy. She had evolved it. Years later, a much older Victor sat in the audience at a university ceremony. Amina was the keynote speaker. "My father taught me how to build," she said, "but he also taught me what not to destroy: trust, people, and purpose." The crowd erupted in applause. Victor smiled. Not the smile of a tycoon, but of a father who finally understood what wealth really meant. Would you like a visual graphic or character portrait to go with this story?